Hi, and welcome to Murder Monday live stream. Now, today we're going to be looking at the Liam Payne story, and there may be some of you saying or thinking, was she talking about Murder Monday? Liam Payne, was he murdered? Um, in my opinion, no. That's just off the bat. No, I don't think so. I've done 2 videos about this situation, and I'm not gonna be swayed. No, I don't believe, that it was murder. So I thought tonight, let's bring him on Murder Monday anyway. I don't think we've discussed him live yet. I could be wrong, in which case I've made a massive boo-boo. But I wanted to talk more so about the charges that these individuals, there's been 3 people that have been charged, and I wanted to talk about that really, and to get people's thoughts on it. So I'm going to put my link down for my panelists to come up. Hopefully, they've done their homework. Very rare that they do. But then, hey ho, that's how our live streams go. Our live streams are fairly informal. They are informal. Um, some people don't really seem to grasp that and seem to take everything very, very seriously about what we say and dissect everything that we say. And yeah, don't do that. We're just a group of ladies. Here's another one here. This is our Bridge. Hi, Bridge.
Hello, and yeah, no, I haven't done any homework on this.
Oh, you're rubbish. So I'm sure Edna will more than likely not have done any either. She's going to say Liam who. Um, so we've got somebody from Ireland in, Phil Heslop. Welcome. Nice to see you in. We have a very small crowd here, and we just like to give our thoughts. So to begin with, how are you, Bridge? Are you all right? What you been up to?
Oh my goodness, I had to get up this morning. Okay, I don't know if you saw my post from yesterday about Gordo, but I thought he had a panic attack because some guy startled him in the elevator, tried to touch him, tried to pet him, and he wasn't expecting it. So
Oh.
I thought he had a panic attack because he started shaking and like drooling and stuff like that
No.
for a few seconds and stuff. So I was
Oh.
upset about that.
Did you pick
But
him up? How did you calm him down?
I just started calling his name and like, Gordo, are you okay? Are you okay, Gordo? Like it scared me because I'm like, what is going on? Like, is he about to croak, like die? What is
Oh,
happening?
no.
So
Oh,
I
no.
thought it was a panic attack, but then later on in the evening, I took him out again, and as soon as we got outside, the same thing happened. Like nobody had touched him or anything. He just started shaking and like drooling and stuff, and I'm like, what is going on? So I'm just like, I
Oh.
don't know what's happening. And so then this morning when I got up to take him out, I was like, okay, we're not going to go on the elevator. I was like, let me get a little exercise before we actually go outside. So we took the stairs down and the
Mhm.
same thing happened again. And I'm just like, oh no. So I packed him up. I was like, we need to go to the vet or
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah. And so like they took all the blood tests and all this stuff like that. And then because Gordo, he's like 11 years old. They were like, well, at his age, the blood test came back, everything was fine, everything was normal. So they're saying it's probably like epilepsy or something like that. So
Oh,
now
no.
he has to be on like a medication for like the rest of his life, or however long that's going to be. So I don't
Oh,
know.
it sounds like my son-in-law.
Mhm.
Not that he sounds like a dog, but he was fairly recently he was fairly recently diagnosed with epilepsy. Front
Mm,
what is it? Front fortal or something? Something
mhm.
at the front. So, yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah,
So are you worried, Bridge?
I am because I was telling the doctor too. I was like, it only happens. I said when It's only been happening when we first go outside. And he was like, well, he might be like overstimulated because he decided to go out.
Yeah,
Because I was like, it doesn't happen in the house. It's just when we first go outside. I don't get it.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's such a shame.
Mm-hmm.
So, is 11 an old age for his breed?
Yeah, I think they live to about maybe 12, 13, maybe
Oh, bless
15.
him.
15 would be pushing it, I think. But yeah.
So he's had his heart checked, has he?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They did everything.
Oh, bless him.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
like
well.
all the tests came out normal, so
Oh,
they
bless
really
him.
don't know. Yeah.
So you're just gonna have to keep an eye on him. I mean,
Yep.
it does sound like maybe it is like overstimulation
Yeah.
for him, like when he first goes out and
Mm-hmm.
he can't moderate it or
Right.
something. I don't know.
Right. I don't know
A-
you. Yeah.
Anyway, let's say hi to Edna. How are you,
Okay.
sweetheart? Are you okay?
I'm
Edna,
good. Hi. Mm-hmm.
here she
Um,
comes.
yeah.
Here she comes. Oh, Edna. How are you, sweetheart? You
I
okay?
think my headset might be acting up. It works whenever it wants to. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Uh-oh.
I'm relaxed. I'm just chilling.
Okay.
Mm.
Will you just sit over there and interject when you feel like it? Okay. You can always tell when she's relaxed. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. Okay. Well, we got Bridget on tonight. So
Yeah, because my headset's black too.
yeah. Right. Okay. So let's start. So I have done 2 other videos that nobody's really interested in, which I'm surprised about. I wonder if they don't get, what do they call it? Shadow blocked or something?
Oh,
I don't
shadow
know.
band. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They just do not get the views. But I've looked into his case a couple of times, and I've read a lot about him. I've watched a lot of videos about him, and I think the last video I did about him, I was sort of saying, why are people looking to blame other people
Mm-hmm.
for a grown man who, yes, he did have a history of, you know, uh, certain abuse. That's a word I didn't mean to say. Substance abuse. Take it that, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so why are they looking for somebody to blame? I mean, they do it. I know they've done it with other people like Michael Jackson. Um,
Um,
and didn't they? What happened to the guy? The doctor? Can you remind me, Bridge? I can't remember. Did he
I
get?
I think he went to prison for a while, but
Uh-huh.
like he's out. And I think the last that I checked, which was years ago, was that he
Uh-huh.
was I think his medical license in the US got revoked or whatever. But the last that I saw, he was practicing medicine in Mexico.
Well, that's frightening.
Mm-hmm.
And it also proves that the law is an absolute arse,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because if he was behind what happened, see, I think it's so difficult, isn't it? Because especially when you're talking about adults,
Mm-hmm.
when is it not their responsibility? And I understand with the Michael Jackson case, it was more a case of this guy was actually injecting him, wasn't he? So I feel that allegedly, I have to say allegedly. Um, so I feel that because he was actually hands-on with it, that's different to say somebody in the Liam Payne case who perhaps was supplying him with drugs. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Would you look at it that way or not?
Um, so in Liam Payne's case, did they arrest the person that was giving him the drugs?
Yes. Okay, right. Well, let me play this clip then, and hopefully it'll make it clearer. as usual, the writing that I put on the screen is never big enough, but it said, right,
Mhm.
Liam Payne may have been unconscious when he fell from the third floor balcony of a hotel. It has been claimed. The autopsy found he died from severe injuries sustained in the fall, but that he didn't adopt a reflex position.
Mhm.
So what they're saying is, hang on a minute. Okay, prosecutors said that given this, the position he was found in and the injuries he sustained, he may have been partly or fully unconscious when he fell. Now, to me, that makes common sense. If he's spaced out,
Mhm.
then maybe he's not going to do the automatic reflex actions.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but some people have looked at that as being, oh, well, somebody must have thrown him off then, or somebody must have done that. But surely, if so, they're saying, oh, well, somebody must have done something to him previously and then threw him off. Now, I don't believe that.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, it's a
what do you?
possibility, though.
Yeah, well, it's always a possibility, but I think we can only go by evidence, really. And I don't think that there is any evidence to support that, is there?
Well, I mean, if he had drugs in his system, he got them from somewhere. I don't
Hmm.
know. I think it's interesting how we don't have like a or is this such a diminished like responsibility when it's still adults? Where it's like if you provide a child with drugs, it's like you're still responsible, and it's like of course, as with an adult, they have to take more responsibility because they have a better understanding of what's happening. But you still gave someone drugs regardless of their age.
Yeah, but I don't think they're comparable really because, if you're an adult, then you've got your own mind. It's not as if he was mentally ill or anything like that, or was maybe on the spectrum where somebody may have been um
But do we
uh
know that he's not mentally ill or on the
Right.
spectrum?
no, we don't. And as soon as I said that, I thought Edna's going to pick up on that. Edna's going to say something about that.
I feel
Um,
like we don't really understand the spectrum well enough to say who is and isn't on it, and or
mhm.
mental illness for that matter either. So I think there's so many people who are functionally, depressed or addicts or what have you, but because they still check the boxes of societal success, they don't get labeled anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolute. I can't argue with that. What do you think about? Because I want to sort of try and stay on track as much as I can. But what do you think of the fact that he, it didn't appear that he used, his natural reflexes when he fell, and that he must have been unconscious or, under the influence. What do you think of that?
I mean, isn't that what happens usually, like in drunk driving accidents? Like
Yes.
it's always the drunk driver who comes out like unscathed because they're relaxed, and they don't have any injuries.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's absolutely true. So let's look at this, one of my favorite crime network programs. I hope it's going to work because, yeah, let me know if you can
The
hear it.
suspects is speaking out
Hmm.
publicly denying the accusations laid out by officials. As we know, Payne fell to
Well,
his
we can
death from a
hear it.
third floor balcony at the Casa Sur Hotel in the Palermo neighborhood on October 16th. He was just 31 years old. A worker at the hotel had actually called 911 minutes earlier saying that Payne was acting erratically, that they were worried for his safety. And not long after, staff heard a loud sound coming from an interior courtyard, and they found Payne dead, falling.
Now, I picked up on this, and it was actually from the same channel. in that he was saying he was trying to make it sound as if he was having like I don't know, a psychotic episode. Um, I listen. I can only say what I believe. I don't believe it was a psychotic episode. Um, why, you might ask, because I wasn't there. I don't know. I just don't think it was. I really believe it was all down to what was in his system. But I think when
Yeah,
you
I don't think
start,
we have a good understanding of what these episodes look like in real life. Because if you have somebody who ends up unalive after, reports of acting erratic, presumably, he had substances in his system, like what would lead him to take those? I think this is what it is.
yeah. But I think it sort of crosses over from. I think we just have to be very careful that we don't just cross it over and make it into a mental health issue when it is actually about somebody who is abusing narcotics and alcohol. I just don't like that. I don't like the crossover. Do you know what I mean? I just
But
think it's unfair.
I
I
hear what
think
you're
it's
saying.
unfair.
Why isn't it both? Because it seems
Well, it
like the narcotics use would be, his way of coping with the mental health.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's possible. I just hate the way that it's always like put down to somebody who's got poor mental health. When the reality could be that he was perfectly, he didn't have any mental illness. I understand that he did. Did he suffer depression? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I just feel like people who have good mental health don't do things like this.
Right.
Hmm. Okay. I can't argue with that, but I think, as I said, I just don't like the fact that if there is anything that, I mean, obviously anybody that does do, the ultimate, then yeah, of course you can say, oh, well, obviously, they were depressed or they had a mental illness or something like that. But I just hate the way that mental illness is used as the paint to cover everybody that has done that, or everybody that's in a situation where other people, um they've met an untimely end. But when I just feel it's different when there's abuse, when there's substances involved. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. I just
So
I just don't like it.
I'm
Mm?
Googling and it looks like he before he passed, he had done interviews and stuff talking about his mental health
Yeah.
and his drug addiction. So
Yeah, I have heard that as well. So Phil says the hotel called emergency services and said not to send police. And they also said they were worried about the fact that the room had a balcony. Strange. That's not the first
hmm,
time I've heard that. It's not the first time that I've heard people sort of saying that it just seemed weird that the guy who reported it to the police was saying, oh, he's in his room and there's a balcony. But I mean, why does that have to seem to be suspicious on the hotel's side? Do you know what I mean? Why? I mean, wouldn't that be one of the first things you thought? I think it would be beneficial to everybody if somebody had filmed the way he was in the hotel lobby, because maybe, having a psychotic break or psychotic, what's the word, thingy episode would look very
Mhm.
similar to somebody who was angry, who was throwing things around, who was breaking their laptop like he's been said to have done. So yeah, I mean, I don't know who would be able to separate the two, or be able to see a difference between the two. Actually, it would certainly be interesting. Right, so let's carry on with this.
From that balcony. Now, Payne had actually been in Argentina for a concert. His fellow One Direction member, Niall Horan, was performing. Payne's American girlfriend, Kate Cassidy, had traveled with him, and their short stay that started at the beginning of the month turned into...
Do you know, I didn't know that this girlfriend is David Cassidy's daughter. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No.
Well, you do now. Apparently, she's David Cassidy's daughter. And if you look at her closely, there is a resemblance there. One thing I want to throw into the mix as well, actually, just to wake you two girls up a little bit.
Well, just to let you know, Jan, David Cassidy is a bit before me and Edna's time. So.
Okay. Oh, God. So was Michael Jackson. So just shut your face.
Okay, I see here.
So was Quincy Jones. God rest him. Okay, all right. What you saying, Edna?
Oh, I'm just trying to see. So he was in the Partridge Family?
Yeah. You've not heard of David Cassidy? Oh my God, you've made me feel old. Listen,
now, I've heard of him, and I remember the reruns of the Partridge Family coming on, but it just wasn't my thing. So I never watched it.
I have to say it wasn't my thing either.
The Partridge Family was an actual family. It was a TV show?
It was a TV show, yeah.
Yeah, and then they used to start singing. But he was the heartthrob, wasn't he? He was a good-looking guy, but not my cup of tea, really. I mean, looks-wise, yes, I like men with long hair. But yeah, a bit too clean cut for me. But anyway, we're going off the story, girls.
Okay.
God. Anyway, so another thing I have to say is his ex-girlfriend, right? His ex-girlfriend had just served him with a cease and desist. Right? For what? I'm gonna have to read it somewhere. No, it's not there. Right, I have to think of it. For not leaving him alone, her alone. Right. He broke up with her, and she broke up with him, right? And he kept phoning her all the time from all different numbers. So it was stalking and harassment. So a few days before this happened, he was served with a cease and desist. But the other weird thing is, guess who was also in the same hotel when he went over the balcony?
Her?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why a lot of people are coming up with all these other scenarios. Oh, well, maybe this happened. Maybe she had something to do with it. You know the way people go. They check out all the details about her. Google it, Bridge, while I go through this, because it is really interesting. Her surname is Henry. Can't remember the first name. Is it Sophie? Oh no, Maya Henry. She was she was on the floor, or the 2 floors up from where he was staying. Now, that seems a bit weird to me.
Did he follow her there?
I don't know. But what's also interesting is this girlfriend, Cassidy, they were staying in I don't know, were they staying at friends? I think they may have been staying at a friend's house. And then she was like, they were only meant to be going for a few days, and it turned into 2 weeks. So she's like, do you know what? I'm going home. Right. So there is a Snapchat of him saying, oh, you know, she's weak, she's going home, or something like that. Okay. So he's left wherever he was staying. He goes into another 5-star hotel, misbehaves in there, gets kicked out of there, and then ends up at this hotel, the last hotel.
Mhm.
Okay. So it just seems a bit weird that Blondie here has gone home, right? He then ends up in the same hotel as his ex-girlfriend.
Hmm.
It's all a bit weird. Anyway, let's see how much more we can get through here. What I want to do, I don't really want to listen to everything he says, but this is what the room looked like. Okay, someone has taken a picture of this after he's gone.
Oh, you know what, Jan? It might not be that weird. Maybe it's just like, they're both familiar else where they stay.
I don't know. I don't know. It does seem a bit weird to me. Can you imagine there, Edna? You're over there with your boyfriend. I don't know why they extended the stay to 2 weeks, but you're there with your fella, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go home.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go back to LA, and then you find out that he's moved to a hotel that his ex-girlfriend's in at the same time. How would you feel about that? Would you think, oh, that's a bit of a coincidence? I don't think I
No, I
would.
wouldn't think it's a coincidence because I would figure like if that he's probably stayed there before with her. So if he stayed there before, why not stay there again?
Yeah,
And if
but
they
you're
were
just
both maybe
guessing that.
they're
You don't
mutual
know
friends
that
of
though.
the bandmate.
You're just guessing that though, Edna. You don't know that. And I get the feeling that maybe he has stayed there before, but I think that the hotel before was more likely where he may have stayed because that was like what do you call it? A luxury hotel. Whereas I'm not sure that the one that he ended up in was. That was a second choice. So yeah, quite
Well, when
interesting.
you say he was acting up, maybe he had to go back to the second or he had to go to the hotel because he was acting up at the first one.
Yeah, he was. He was acting up at the first one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So then that makes even more sense. No?
Oh, okay. I love it when Edna just ties us up in knots. Okay, let's listen to a bit more. You could be right, Edna. I hadn't even thought about that, but it just seemed, I don't know, it just seemed a bit weird to me.
Hmm.
National Criminal and Correctional Prosecutor's Office, which has been translated from Spanish, so there might be a little bit of gaps here. It says illicit conduct was discovered from which 3 people were charged with the crimes of abandonment of a person followed by death, supply and facilitation of narcotics.
Right, so they're all going on the supply of the narcotics. And that's when I have to ask the question again. Why are they responsible for a grown man, going over the balcony? Why does it have to be seen that they were involved in it? I don't
Well,
get it.
it says abandonment as well. So they were probably saying that they knew that he was impaired and a danger probably to himself, and they just left him there.
Well, that's what they're trying to claim. That's what the Buenos Aires prosecutors are trying to claim. Is that a valid point, though?
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
but then,
Uh,
but, but
okay, so
then,
I
go on.
I watched this one show, and it was about colleges and fraternities and stuff like that. And they do crazy stuff that you have to do when you get into the fraternity or sorority.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
one of the things was the pledges the big brothers or whatever made the pledges drink excessive amounts of alcohol, and
yeah.
the little each big brother had a little brother to take care of that was drunk as hell. And there was this one kid, and he was like shit faced drunk and passed out, didn't know what he was doing, going into walking into walls and all kinds of stuff like that. his big brother was just like, this dude is dead. He didn't mean dead, like really dead, but
Yeah.
he was like, he's passed out. And so they left. They left him there, like on the couch. And that kid ended up dying.
Mm.
And the big brother and all the frat brothers were basically charged because you left
Oh.
this kid there, you supplied him the alcohol and didn't look after him. You knew he was inebriated, you knew he was like basically out of his mind. And well, he actually, you know what, he did not die. He didn't die. He has like he has brain damage for the rest of his life. You left
Oh,
him
God.
there and didn't get him help, so now you're charged.
And were they found guilty? What
Oh
happened?
yeah, they were found guilty, but it was some bullshit charge. They're on probation. Had to do like what, a year probation. They're out living their lives.
So you're saying a kid, so what was he, 17, 18?
Probably like 18, 19. I think it was like 18 because he was a freshman.
Okay. But then I think we get, and I can understand that, yeah, and I
Mhm.
agree with that, 100%. But then we get into the grey areas, don't we? Because do you remember oh my God, I've forgotten the boy's name. Do you remember the guy who we saw pictures of him? I think we did do a live on him. Was it Riley Strain, who was paralytic? And he was walking along the street, and that he was
Mhm,
filmed from
mhm,
many CCTVs, and he was
mhm,
so out of his face,
mhm,
okay, and he ended up in the
Mm-hmm.
river, okay.
mhm,
Remember that story?
mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't believe that establishment where he came from, or his friends that he'd previously been drinking with, I don't think they were taken to court.
Mhm.
So
I,
I think
I,
it's a very grey area. How did
it's not
they get
it's not,
away with that?
I don't think it's a gray area. I think that the law just doesn't pursue it because like I worked as a bartender at one point and they always told us that, you know, like you're supposed to cut a person off if you see that they are very intoxicated. You're supposed to cut them off because you could be held liable if they get into an accident, they die, or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Oh,
but
okay.
the law
Yeah.
doesn't usually pursue the bartender.
Why? Because
Mhm.
it's not, well, yeah, I was going to say because it's not really
I
the
mean, it's
bartender,
probably
but it
really
is
hard to
though.
prove, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if you look at the wording of this, like they were charged with crimes of abandonment of a person, followed by death, supply and facilitation of narcotics. I mean, you could say that about just about every bar in the world, couldn't
Yes.
you?
Yes. Mhm.
That's why
Well,
I called it
alcohol
a
isn't
grey
considered a
area.
narcotic, though, is it?
No, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, so because it's narcotics, you believe that that's why they would face a charge as
I
opposed
think
to alcohol.
I think it's because he is a celebrity. It's just like in like Mac Miller's death, they went after the people that supplied him drugs. But anybody else that has died of an
Imagine
overdose,
that,
like a
you're talking about it.
Yeah, sort your mic out, Edna.
oh my
Exactly.
god, what? I thought it was me. But I was gonna say, but anybody else that has died of like an overdose, they like a regular person, they never go after the drug dealer. So I think it's his celebrity status in this case, and that's why they're going after these other people.
Yeah, which actually goes back to what I asked in my previous videos. Why do they always have to look for somebody else
Mhm.
who could be to blame
Yeah,
just because they're a celebrity? That's
yeah.
where I think it's unfair,
Mhm,
because there's many people out there who have died because of situations like this. But
mhm,
nothing's ever done, and
mhm,
I don't know. I just think I believe, what I'm like. I believe in justice, and I think everybody should be treated in the same way.
mhm,
And, at the end of the day, I feel in this situation, he was old enough, he knew what he was doing, he knew he had a problem with narcotics and also with,
mhm,
with alcohol. So I'm not saying that he deserves it. I don't think anyone deserves it. But I think sometimes when you try and make, some sort of I don't know, paint a different legacy for somebody. I just don't think it's right unless you do it for everybody. I think that's where I'm coming from. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to watch all this, but it's quite interesting. This is the guy that they spoke to. This is the one of the guys that they've arrested. Okay.
By media outlets in Argentina as a waiter named Brian Nahul Pais, Payne's friend Rahilio Roger Norez, and a hotel worker named Esquiel David Pereira. And to talk about this, these three suspects, what they're facing, the latest in this investigation, I want to bring back in.
No, we don't need to bring him back in. What we need so they're the three guys, okay? So they're obviously all young guys, okay? So I would assume that, I mean, I know it's difficult to sort of say things and you have to be careful what you say, but I would assume that they are the ones that are being charged for giving them. Okay, don't worry, sweetness, come back when you're ready. They are the ones that are being charged. And I don't know. I just don't know if it's fair. I know that the guy, this young guy, that one there, has lost his job. That's understandable. I mean, yeah, I can understand that if in fact he's guilty. Let's just carry on with this first because there is actually a video of him talking that I watched, which is quite interesting. But he's vehemently disputing and denying any involvement in, passing on narcotics to him. So, but what I thought was interesting were these little things that came up. So this one says the first of the accused is the person who accompanied the artist on a daily basis during his stay in the city of Buenos Aires, who is charged with crimes of abandonment of a person. Okay, contemplated in Article 106 of the Penal Code, and which provides a sentence of 5 to 15 years in prison. Now, this is obviously somebody that, I mean, what would you call him? His bodyguard? I don't know. But why is he being held responsible for that? Why is it being said that he abandoned a grown man? I don't understand that, and I don't think that's right. What do you think?
Look, I'm looking up Article 106 of the
I know
Penal
you
Code.
are. I'm talking this all to myself. If it's not Edna snoring in the corner, it's you Googling everything. God's sake, I need another one up here. Right. So, okay.
I think it's like I said before, like if he was already inebriated and a danger to himself, but still, I don't know.
I know. That's what. Let's go back to that. Okay, let's go back. Does it say that he's a danger to himself? Let me see. So these are the guys. Look. So that's Liam there, and that's the guy that was with him. I don't know whether that's the guy that was looking after him. What was I going back for, Bridge? I forgot. Oh, that bit. Right. So, how do you say that? Rogelio Norez.
Rogelio.
In death investigation, he says, I never abandoned Liam. I went to his hotel 3 times that day and left 40 minutes before this happened. There were over 15 people at the hotel lobby chatting and joking with him. When I left, I could have never imagined something like this would happen. Exactly. See, that for me is enough defense. I mean, why is he responsible for the life of a grown man when he wasn't his official? I don't think he was his official bodyguard. I was going to say something else. Oh, and the other thing that we have to remember is that he also had 2, how can I put it, ladies of the night. Visit him, spend quite a few hours with him that same day. So that's obviously why Mr. Norris didn't spend the whole time with him if he's hooking up with these hookers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so let's be selective here. It's almost like the judicial system is trying to be really selective in what they pick out, on what they pick on. Okay, so you were meant to be looking after him because, you know, his girlfriend had gone home. So you're meant to be looking after him. So you're going to be charged. You're going to be charged with abandonment. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Because I'm looking up like crime of abandonment, and what I think is like of abandonment, I'm thinking of like a person that cannot take care of themselves, such
Yes,
as a disabled person. That's
yes,
what I think of.
or a child,
Yeah, yeah,
not somebody who likes a beer and likes, you know, the odd whatever.
right.
So as Phil says, so if a friend and I go out for a night and get drunk and my friend passes away from alcohol poisoning, am I to be held responsible? Exactly, Phil. That's how I feel. It's just, I don't know. No. In my eyes, no. I mean, luckily, I mean, I could tell the story with my son. I mean, my youngest boy, I think I probably already told it, where I'm so grateful. I think I'm always, I've always been very careful or always checked out my kids' friends, put it that way. And when my son reached a certain age, my youngest boy reached a certain age, he started going out with his mates. And I'd be like, just be careful, you know, because boys are just as susceptible for attacks as girls nowadays, sadly. Um, anyway, so one night he was out and I ended up picking him up from outside a bar he'd been to where he was hugging a lamppost that his
Hmm.
friend had sort of attached him to and said, just wait for your mother. Now, I'm just trying to think if anything had happened to him then. Right. Now, supposing I hadn't got there when they thought I was going to get there,
Hmm.
and my son was still clinging to the lamppost, and something awful had happened to him,
Right.
would I blame his friend? Would I be able to take his friend to court and say, well, look, you knew he was inebriated, you left him out on the street hugging a lamppost, and this is what's happened? I don't know. It's a grey area, isn't it?
Hmm.
I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't. I think it has to be, doesn't it have to be looked at? It's a
No,
bit
I
like
think
when
it's
you,
different in that case
why is it different though? Why is it different?
because they've notified someone else. It's like they've
And
kind of
also,
passed the blame.
yeah, but then, okay, so supposing something else, you know, something awful did happen, could I blame the bar? Could I say, well, look, you know, you knew my son was inebriated.
Perhaps for over-serving them.
Sorry, I didn't get what you said there, Edna. I don't know what's wrong with your
So I was
mic.
saying, yes, I mean, maybe you could.
But not
Okay,
if
hold
he's of
on. Sorry.
drinking, not if he's of drinking age. I mean, which he was. He's an adult, yeah? He's seen by law as an adult. So I couldn't charge either his friend or the bar. Because in my eyes, you know, they're adults. They choose to do that. He chose to do that. And I think a lot of it, it's like I was going to say, it's a bit like the laws of slander, right? And if you're and defamation, that one of the main things about slander and defamation is the intent. And I think that can be applied to this. I think this guy that left him for, however long while he was with these girls or whatever, his intention wasn't for Liam to end up the way he ended up. Was it? Can someone speak? Because I need a cough.
Well, I'm still Googling. I'm Googling, and I'm on Reddit, and they're talking about it. And this Argentinian person basically said that they do, because I'm thinking that like this is Argentina, so they may have different laws, but it says it's a crime typified in our penal code called abandonado de persona. It means that you knew that someone was going to cause to harm, someone was going to come to harm, and still didn't help them.
Yeah, so, but that can't be included. That's not relevant in this case either, is it? Do you see what I mean?
Well,
it's
no,
not
because
relevant.
They said that he was causing a ruckus in the hotel, and they were afraid because he had a room with a balcony, so they knew that he could possibly harm himself. I mean, it's all documented, right?
Yeah, they did. And in actual fact, I think when the story first broke, it was confirmed that the hotel had actually phoned the police twice. The first time they phoned because he was like going crazy in the lobby, and then they took him upstairs to his room. So could they then be charged with abandonment because they knew he was in a bad way? I don't know.
But they called the police, but
and then they called the police again a few minutes afterwards and said, right, he's in his room, but he's not in a good way, and we're worried because there's a balcony. As Phil says, it's always a blame game these days. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, it's just, that it's like with anything, especially to do with crime, the more you look into it, the more coincidences or, different storylines run alongside it. And that's what makes true crime really interesting.
Because I'm thinking for myself too, like if I am in a situation where some people are being out of control and got a whole bunch of drugs around and they're acting crazy and wild, my first thought is, let me get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So like, would I be charged with a crime because these people are crazy on drugs and I don't want to be part of that situation?
No, but I think if that person was your friend that you'd gone on the night out with, you still shouldn't be charged, but I'm just trying to sort of liken it more to Liam's case. I don't know. See, that's what I mean. I think there are a lot of grey areas. Welcome back, Edna. So this one here is, again, the prosecutors have said the second defendant is a hotel employee who must answer for 2 proven supplies of cocaine to Liam Payne during the period he was at the hotel. Okay. So apparently it's been proved that he supplied it, judging by what this statement says. And the third, also a drug supplier, is accused of 2 other clearly proven supplies during 2 different times on October 14th. Both were charged with the crime of supplying narcotics, 2 acts of each. Interesting. So one of them has said, Brian, we'll say Brian, says, I never supplied Liam with drugs. Liam's first contact with me was at my place of work. So that must have been at the hotel. We swapped details and saw each other later that night. It was all normal. He came down from his hotel room to fetch me because I had got lost. What? So maybe
So
you didn't work at the
mhm.
hotel.
Yeah.
So he came down from his hotel room to that sounds a bit weird, but hey. Maybe is he the one that was meant to be looking after? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. But there's just so many stories here. Here's another one. Oh, not that one. Let's go back. There. Same guy. We got together there and he showed me some of the music he was going to bring out. It was the guy. That was the guy, you know, the young guy I showed you. I think that was him. Anyway, we got together there and he showed me some of the music he was going to bring out. I've heard people saying he was taking drugs, but the truth is that when he got to the restaurant where I was working, yeah, he's that guy, he was already under the effects of drugs and he didn't actually eat anything. We took drugs together, but I never took drugs to him or accepted any money.
Okay.
Oh. So where did they take the drugs together? So did he go up to his room and take them with him?
I mean, does it really matter? They were just like basically partying. Like they could
Yeah,
have taken them. They could have taken them in the bathroom and in the car. They were partying together, is what he's saying.
yeah. But then maybe he shouldn't have been if he was in the restaurant. If he was working in the restaurant, maybe he shouldn't have been partying with them. Do you
I
know
mean,
what
it's
I'm
probably
saying?
just a young guy, whatever.
Him. That was him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was a big no-no. A definite no-no there. And that's obviously why he's got the boot. He's got fired. Right, so
Yeah.
now we're talking about the toxicology tests. Prosecutors have said the results of the toxicology tests, which have already been communicated to his family, revealed that in the moments before his death and in the period of at least his last 72 hours, Payne only had traces of polydrug use of alcohol, cocaine, and a prescription antidepressant in his body. This conclusion was reached after the complete toxicology tests on urine, blood, and vitreous humor. What? Vitreous humor? What's that? Carried out in a very short time. So I understand that to mean that that's not the full toxicology result. That's what I believe. But I found it quite interesting that they've said Payne only had traces of that. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough that he's got all this?
That's what I
Well,
was thinking.
I think beforehand, there were reports that he had like, what is it called, ecstasy and some other stuff.
Oh, what's that one? They said pink cocaine or
Mm-hmm.
something, they said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is why none of my Liam Payne videos get any views, because I'm not meant to use those words, am I? That's what it is. Oh, well done, Jan. You're clever. Because everybody else uses different words, don't they? Not me. I've got to learn. I'm a slow learner. So I think that's all the... Oh, hang on. There's another one there. Right. All the injuries that Payne had were compatible with those caused by a fall from a height, and that self-harm of any kind and or physical intervention by third parties were ruled out.
Okay.
So you can't say that and then say that somebody else did it then. Can you?
Right.
It's just so contradictory to me. They also highlighted that the victim did not adopt a reflex posture to protect himself from the fall. So, for the moment, it can be inferred that he may have fallen in a state of semi or total unconsciousness. That makes sense to me,
Mm-hmm.
which is we've gone all the way around. We've come back in our big circle, and that's how I started. by saying that I personally believe he was in a state of semi or total unconsciousness. Definitely. I mean, you've had people measuring the height of the bar that he went over,
Mhm.
or the balcony. What do you call it? That he went over. Okay. So there's that one. So girls, what are you thinking? That's a recent one from Law and Crime Network, guys. Check them out. I watch them all the time. They're really good. So let's see if anyone else has said anything. Okay, so we've got somebody here saying Liam Payne's ex, Maya Henry, claimed he predicted his early death. Loads of people predict their early death,
Yeah.
don't
Mhm.
they? So yeah, that's
Mhm.
a load of tosh. Then we've got who else? I think the thing that's annoyed me, yeah, it does annoy me a little bit, is that people are always looking to blame other people,
Mhm.
and I just don't feel that these 3 guys, all right, maybe they were supplying the rugs, which is despicable, disgusting, shouldn't be doing it, but they didn't kill him.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I think.
Mhm.
Um, right, so this is 10 hours ago. Reveals shocking details, does he? All right, let's have a look.
Get
Okay,
rewarded
so
for using
Jen,
energy
how would you
flexibly.
feel if they got charged with like a lesser drug charge?
Yes, I think all uh, drug dealers should be, yeah, they should be sentenced and be held accountable for selling those. And it's like everything that it's like I keep saying, there's so many grey areas in this, because you do hear of people who have taken, something that has, resulted in the worst possible thing, and then they
Mhm.
try and take or charge the drug dealer, don't they? I have heard of that, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they should? Do you think drug dealers should receive bigger sentences? Or I just don't think. I mean, I get the impression that they're not going to be charged with his murder or manslaughter, are they? I think it's
Mm-mm.
just going to be a drug charge, isn't it?
Well, that
Yeah.
that abandonment,
I mean, I think
abandon,
that's fair.
the abandonment charge, they said, it holds a sentence of 2 to 6 years, so they'll probably get probation.
Yeah, get a slap on the wrist.
Mhm.
Um, but getting back to the Michael Jackson case, I mean, that guy, he went to prison for what he did, right? But as I said,
Mhm.
I think it's very different to a drug supplier to somebody who is purporting to be a doctor and injecting somebody with it. That is manslaughter. Do you know what he was charged with? Was he charged with manslaughter, Bridge? Hey,
Uh,
King Low, hope you're well. Was he charged with manslaughter? Michael Jackson, doctor?
I'm looking, it says, yeah, involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, yeah. And he's out already.
Mhm.
But I
He
think
didn't
in
do much
some.
time. It
Oh
was 2 years. He did 2 years.
no!
Mhm.
Oh, that's insane. For
Yeah.
killing. Oh no! Oh, I can't go there. I get too upset about it.
Aw.
That's awful. Right, so we've got here, he breaks his silence. If this is going to be an all singing, all dancing thing, I'm not going to bother. Um, Sometimes it's better just to look at the comments. Right, now somebody here, the first comment has said, I wonder if he was one of them who carried Liam to his hotel room and took his watch from him when he
Hmm.
was incapacitated, and
Oh.
then threw him off the balcony after an altercation to conceal what he had done. So
Oh
she's
no.
now turning him into a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's some coincidence that someone just happened to phone and mention the balcony, and just a short while later he goes over and died. I don't think so. A dead man and a missing Rolex screams foul play. What's this about a missing Rolex? Are they saying that that Liam lost his Rolex?
They said the guy stole
Apparently.
it. Yeah.
Oh God. Right. Translate to English. Right, okay, so this guy translated, so it may be a bit odd. If there was something between them that Liam wanted to hide, I don't think he would have taken a photo with him, then hugged him. For him, he was a fan like all the others, maybe paid to defame him after his death for to distract public opinion. I still see something shady in it. What if this guy killed him because Liam didn't want to be with him? It wouldn't be the first case. Oh no! I have heard that. I've heard somebody, I've heard rumors that I don't know if it was this guy, who said that he was intimate with Liam. Have you
Hmm?
heard?
Oh, wow.
You've not
That's
heard
the
it?
first.
Okay. So, just for the last 10 minutes, what we're going to do, because I know which channel it was on, it's on one of my favourite crime channels. Let's quickly do that. See, this is what the way people make things up, for goodness sake. Just let him rest in peace now. Right, this one here. Okay, this is it. Right. No, I like this channel. He's good. Wax Unfiltered, he's called. Now, I think we only need to start from the beginning. All right, let's do this.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some new disturbing details of the final moments leading up to the death of Liam Payne. Now, in an exclusive interview, the Argentinian press spoke to one of the people that had been arrested. So this is the guy that has allegedly been arrested, the guy that sold Liam the drugs that evening, by the name of Brian Newhall Has. I'm not too sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But he done an exclusive interview with the media. He drops a load of bombshells in that interview. Firstly, he says he's not a drug dealer and didn't supply Liam with the drugs. Secondly, he claims that he stayed at the hotel with Liam for a night and they got intimate with each other.
Yeah. But that could be rumours. It could be all rumours. There's nothing. Well, I'll have a look. I'll Google it if Bridge doesn't do it to see if it says anything about him like being with this dude. I don't know.
Allegedly, this guy had linked up with Liam while Kate Cassidy was in Argentina as well. What I'm hearing from this guy's mouth is absolutely questionable. And there are so many people online that are calling him out. There are so many people online that don't believe a word he is saying. But there are things he is saying that make you think he might be telling the truth. Let's check this out. Now, firstly, big up Tanya. Thank you for following me on TikTok. This is
Right, so this is a TikToker. I don't know whether you can believe everything she says. But she is sort of collaborating that story or solidifying that story. I don't know. But I think we're going to stop there. And I'm going to say to you, if you want to watch any more of this particular thing, I don't want to play it because personally, I don't know if I agree. To be honest with you. But yeah,
Okay.
that's another rumor out there. I want to just touch on. Let's see if anyone's done anything on the ex-girlfriend. Yeah, before we go. Okay. Let's see if anyone. Oh, is that you, Edna? Edna.
I don't think so.
Oh. Oh no, sorry. No, it's on here. Sorry. All right, just ignore this. Right. Okay. Here we go.
Join us at the next DMU Open Day and you can book your place right now.
I don't want to. Right.
True Geordie YouTube channel, and Liam Payne, the former One Direction member, as I'm sure you're all aware, has died. This
is another one of my favourite channels. I don't watch him all the time, but he's bloody good. True Geordie. Check him out. Right, so that's the intro. I just want to hear what he says about the girlfriend. Here we go. Her book. Oh, yes, that's another thing. She was bringing out a book about Liam Payne. So that's another thing. Interesting. Right, here we go.
in a good way. Now, apparently, she's changed it so that it's a half fictional book. Like, she's 8 Mile it, basically, so that she can have creative freedom to say whatever the fuck she wants and no one can really challenge it, because she hasn't said it's Liam Payne. He's called Oliver in this book. And in the book, apparently...
Oh, I didn't know that. So it's a bit like Baby Reindeer, isn't it? She's changed the name. Interesting.
There's emotional abuse, drug abuse, and violent episodes. Now, what violence level we're talking about, I don't know. She also discovers that she is pregnant and becomes excited about it. However, his reaction is drastically different as he threatens to leave her if she keeps the baby. Naturally, even though she's talking about Oliver, the whole world is going to read this and hate Liam Payne for it. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve, you know, any repercussions or blame in the event that he was alive for this. We just have to understand where his head was at around his death.
And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Right, okay. Her podcast, her lawsuit.
What is she suing? Oh, okay. No. Okay. The harassment. I was going to ask what was she suing for, but he harassed her. So
yes,
you know.
She was suing him for harassment. Right, her podcast. Let's just click onto there.
Some videos on our own social media to help promote this book, and she even did a podcast only 2 days ago, which sparked headlines about Liam Payne. Whether or not what she's saying is true or false or whatever, the timing of this leading up to his death cannot be ignored.
Oh, okay. Right. I was just going to read this bit here, which is she defiantly told her followers, "You don't even know what's happened," before ending the TikTok by saying, "There's a lot more to the story. So I guess stay tuned because I feel like I'll be answering more questions." Now, this was after his death. Okay. But having said that, we don't know what he did to her. But anyway, let's. But
it seems really opportunistic of her to put it out there like that. Like, here's the cliffhanger. You guys don't know. Stay tuned for more. Like,
yeah, and especially, it's just wild to me how she was apparently in the same hotel. It's wild. No wonder people are speculating. So let's hear what she had to say.
Needs to keep his name out of her mouth. She's obsessed, blah, blah, blah. They broke up years ago. Well, I made a 5-second TikTok about something he talked about on a podcast. He was the one airing out everyone's dirty laundry on a podcast. So it's okay for him to talk at the minute I make a 5-second video. It's over, right? Also, you're calling me obsessed. Oh, she's crazy. This happened when you are with someone who's obsessed, blah, blah, blah. Y'all don't even know what happens behind closed doors or in private. Ever since we broke up, he messages me, will blow up my phone, mind you, not only from his phone number, it's always from different phone numbers too. So I never know where it's going to come from. He'll create new iCloud accounts to iMessage me. It's always a damn new iCloud account. I'm like, every time I see one pop up on my phone, I'm like, here we again. Also will email me. And he does this when he gets his phone taken away. Also,
Taken
not
away by
only me,
who?
but he'll blow up my mom's phone.
Sorry?
She said when he gets his phone taken away by who?
I don't know. By his present girlfriend, presumably. Now, I must say, I don't know whether she filmed this before or after his death.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that. I don't know. Hang on, let's go back to that again so that we hear that all again. It's quite interesting.
Again. Also, will email me. And he does this when he gets his phone taken away. Also, not only me, but he'll blow up my mom's phone. Is that normal behavior to you? But I'm crazy for making a 5-second TikTok.
This girl, it's giving toxic. I'm not saying
Oh, I don't agree with that. I don't think it gives TikTok. Girls, what do you think? I don't think it gives toxic. Toxic. I don't think it gives toxic at all.
Well, yeah, the relationship was toxic. Not necessarily her, but their dynamic was toxic.
He just said this girl is toxic. I don't like that.
No, he
Okay.
said it's giving toxic.
Okay, let's listen again.
this girl, it's giving toxic. I'm not saying.
Yeah. No, I don't like that, Brian. Sorry. His name's Brian. I don't like that. Okay, I've gone off him immediately.
Liam isn't also toxic. I'm pretty sure this was just a toxic situation. But when she is using the defense of, I only made a 5-second TikTok about him and you're all calling me crazy because I keep talking about him, while she's writing a fucking book about him. The whole.
Yeah, but she was writing the book before he died. Oh, see,
but still, she, even though she was writing the book before he died, she knew he had problems. He had these mental health issues. He had these substance abuse issues, but she was still doing this book. So it's still giving opportunistic to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. Edna, what are your thoughts, darling?
No, I agree. It's like, it's a much smaller scale, but, even in our, the little, what do you call it, the grow world community here, there's some people that are like way left. That they're not playing with a full deck, and it's like you
Yeah.
can't be mad at them. We all know that they're not all there, so you just walk away.
Okay.
All time is mental. This made headlines, right? Oh, she's legally gone after him to try and get a restraining order from him being able to contact her or whatever. She's claiming that he's always trying to contact her. Is it possible that the reason he was trying to contact her was to beg her to not release a book about him? I could understand.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We don't know.
That's part of the issue, though. That's where I would say she's sounding toxic, because it's like if you know that he has all these issues, why are you?
Okay, so are you saying that she is trying to capitalize on her relationship with him? But having said that, if he was doing those things to her, then why shouldn't she put it out into the public?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like certain situations, it's like what you're getting yourself into. I mean, it doesn't make you any less of a victim or whatever, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I wouldn't do it.
That to some degree. And here is the news article that came out 2 days before the death of Liam, where she is suing him. It's in all the papers. When someone is low, when someone is clearly where Liam Payne was, this could not have been helped, because all the speculation gets ramped up by the newspapers. And she is basically taking the lawyers onto him to demand that he stops messaging her. I mean, it isn't even really clear what the lawyers are doing. It's just.
Yeah. See, I don't know. It's difficult for me because I'm very much I don't know, I just think people need to speak out, you know? If you're being abused or if you're being stalked or if you're being harassed, then you should speak out about it, and I don't see why she shouldn't have done that. But then in the same way, I do understand, I can understand how that would have been devastating for him, okay, at that point in time. And also you have to be aware that he lost his music, um, his music management dropped him around the same time as well. So yeah, he most definitely was at a low ebb. There's no
I mean,
disputing that.
because like she could still speak out without writing a book.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
yeah. And I can't argue with you girls because I do believe that as well. But I also I don't know, I think I maybe think a bit differently than some people. And you know, I don't know, I just feel strongly that women should be able to speak out, or men, if they're in that position. They should be able to
Mhm.
speak out. And just because he was once in a boy band doesn't mean that he should get away with doing those things to
Hmm.
her, you know, harassing her and stalking her, you know. And I've heard the
Right.
story about the abortion. Apparently, he forced her to have an abortion, you
Mm.
know, and oh, no, I don't know. Yeah, but then in the same breath, I can agree that maybe she shouldn't have brought it out publicly.
No,
It's
you can still bring it out publicly. My whole thing is like she's trying to profit from the situation.
is she though, or is she just getting her story out? I'm doing an Edna here.
Look, she could write a blog article and get her story out. She could
Yeah,
Yeah.
she doesn't have to write a book for sale, or you could write a book and then give it away for free.
yeah, yeah. I know. I mean, I'm thinking. I do feel sorry for him in that instance. It must have been so hard for him. And there's so many different branches of this tree of, you know, sorrow because whilst I still do feel sorry for him, my God, you know, he must have been thinking it was the end of the world and everything.
Hmm.
He should never have been on drugs. He should never have taken those drugs. He should never have taken the drink. But to then have 3 other men involved in this and try and put all the blame onto them, I don't think it's right.
Hmm.
Um, okay, let's see what we've got here. Hi, Brian. We have no idea if the allegations are true. Yeah, there's so many allegations, aren't there? And, you know, you just don't know what's true and what's fabricated. Um So, yeah. I mean, yeah, you can't help but feel sorry for him, but I think you do also have to look at it from all sides.
Hmm.
So, um,
Yeah, and but I mean, do you only feel sorry for him because of the outcome? Because if you take that out of the equation, it's like he's not really a victim, you know?
hang on, let me see what Brian said. If they are includes any text in her book. Yeah, that's a good point, Brian. That's a good point. Does she show any of the texts? Sorry, Edna, what was it you said? You made a good point there. What was that?
I was saying that, other than him ending up unalive, like if you take that out of the equation, he doesn't really seem like much of a victim. It's like, is that the only, like, if you take that out of the equation, it's like, what are we left with?
That's the thing. And is he a victim? Is he actually a victim? I don't know. What is he a victim of? He's a victim of himself. In my opinion, he was a victim of himself. So yeah, I don't think he's a victim of anybody else. Um, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, you're right. He has been public about his mental health issues. I kind of think he had
He says
just
hotel issues.
emails. Yeah, and that's when he threw the computer, wasn't it? Supposedly.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, of course you're going to feel sorry for anybody that ends up, like that. Of course we do. But I still would never call him a victim. No. No, he's not. In my opinion. Bridged, would you say he's a victim?
He may be, but of what? I mean, because we know the dude was
Exactly.
troubled. He was on drugs, so clearly some things were going on in his life, but I don't know what.
Mhm.
That's a good point. That's a good point. He went onto the balcony to see if he could climb down. That's a good point. But then that doesn't account for him. If he slipped in that instance, wouldn't he have used the reflexes to try and break
Mhm.
his fall?
Yeah.
Leaned over. Okay.
Not necessarily. Not if he was inebriated or what have you.
That's true. That's true.
Listen, I had mixed up, the wrong supplement with a medication I was taking and ended up on the ground. Didn't even realize, because it makes you dizzy. And the doctor was like, "Oh, you shouldn't be taking like the magnesium supplement." I was like, "Oh, really?" He was like, And I just think sometimes things happen you don't even realize it.
Okay,
So
Brian.
especially talking
Brian
about
is saying
yeah,
about a wicker chair. What about the wicker chair? I haven't heard about the wicker chair.
the
The
wicked
wicker
bugs.
furniture was far away. Okay. I don't know what that's about. But I think what we have to, and we do all recognise, it's a very convoluted story. And it's like with any story that you look into deeply, especially when it involves possibly crime. Do I believe any crime was involved in this? No, I don't.
Mhm.
I just don't. Um,
Brian is saying that the placement of the chair was too far away for him to just have been passed out and like falling over the balcony.
oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard that question as well. How far do you fall if you pass out while leaning over a balcony? Yeah, interesting. There's a wicker there's a wicker chair on top of him. Oh, was there? What on the what's the name of that blooming TMZ thing? Was there a chair on top of him? What? That's weird. I just saw that there was some sort of covering over him. I didn't see a wicker chair. So how would he go? Yeah, that's what I assumed, Brian. That's what I assumed. But why would he have a wicker chair on top of him? Unless that was oh no. Were there wicker chairs down in the courtyard? Yeah, in the TMZ crap. Yeah. That was appalling. Luckily, I didn't study it closely. I just saw a quick flash of it on Twitter and thought, I don't want to look at that. And that was before they took it down. But yeah, it's a story that it's sad. It's sad. He was a young dude. He had a lot to live for. And is it just a case of the old bloody narcotics and drink getting to another guy who had more money than sense? I don't know.
Mhm.
I really don't know. But we're gonna finish here, I think. Yes, it is, Brian. It's dreadful. And I guess, in my own clumsy roundabout way, I'm just trying to say let you know, just let the dude rest in peace.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of things going on in his life, and he was struggling. But then I tell you what, we all struggle, you know. Our
Mhm.
lives are all a struggle. And yeah, I don't think there's going to be a big parade when I'm gone. Apart from my haters, of course. They'll be like, yay, yay, she's gone. But anyway, girls, I want to say thanks so much for coming up. Same to you, Phil. Thanks for coming along. We're finishing now. Thank you so much for popping in. And also to Brian, thank you for coming in, and anybody else that came in, and all the people that are going to watch the video afterwards. But I want to say thank you to my girls. Thank you so much for coming up. And yeah, good discussion tonight, girls. They'll answer me eventually.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Great discussion.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Nice to
thinking,
meet you too,
so
Brian. I'm looking for new panelists, if you know of any.
no, Jam, shush. I'm
Love
thinking
your
about
laughter.
you have the drug dealer, but they're talking about they think that there was someone who was in the room like when he fell. Is that what they're saying?
There are so many rumors out there, Edna. We don't know. There's so many different stories that are coming out about it. And that's why, you know, it's quite interesting to talk about. And that's why I thought, hey, do you know what? We'll do this on Drama Friday. On Murder Monday, because I wanted to, you know, understand, you know, and get your thoughts on it. And it's like trying to pull teeth sometimes with you two, because Bridget has always got her nose in Google, and Anna is always puffing on a bloody whatever. So, but anyway, I still love you girls, and I'll see you on Friday. All right. There's no Wednesday this week. We're having a break, but we'll be back on Friday for Drama Friday. So thanks to everyone who's come along, and just take care of yourselves out there, because trust me, it's a rotten old world. So until the next
Oh
one.
wait, Jan.
Oh my God.
What
She's
about
done.
the
Edna, Bridge has done it again.
what about the drama that we're talking about on Friday? You gonna give us a hint?
No, I've sort of parked that over there for now. Give me some ideas, both of you, please. Give me some ideas, because I just don't want to keep going over the same old drama, because I think it gets boring. But you know, both of you, you've got until Friday if you've got any ideas, and you know I'll talk about
Well,
anything. So
I think there's a new level to the piano
to the what?
situation. You come
Hannibal.
back to it.
Oh,
Oh, he deleted his channel.
gee.
Piano.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Your mic is breaking up, and
remember the situation?
I don't know what Edna's doing
Oh,
over
okay.
there.
I
That's all
know.
right, my darling. That's all right. I know it's not your fault. I know. Yeah, that's interesting.
Sorry.
That's all right, darling. It's not your fault. I know. Okay. So maybe we'll talk about that. I need to research it. But yeah, that's interesting. Can I finish my outro now?
Okay.
Edna, can I finish
Yeah.
my outro?
Bye.
Love you. Bye. Right. Okay. Take care of yourselves out there, guys, because it's a rotten old world. So until the next one, bye bye for now.